This is the Burma you'll be most familiar with, the Burma in the headlines. The reports of the atrocities that take place, the protests, the oppression. A people oppressed by a military government that crushes free speech through a combination of fear, violence and intimidation. All too often, what is great about Burma, the stunning scenery, the rich culture, the kindness of its people, is overshadowed by what is bad. The potential here is left unexplored, life undocumented, and the future uncertain. As three filmmakers interested in the political situation within Burma, we wanted to see what the country was like on a day-to-day basis, a Burma behind the headlines. As skateboarders, we had a means to explore the cities from a different perspective, to search out new spots, and a curiosity as to what impact and reaction we would cause by doing so. As with most countries around the world, we would need a visa to enter, which meant our first call was Bangkok, where we had to search out the Burmese embassy in order to apply for one.
So these are a couple of the forms that you have to fill out in order to get into Myanmar or Burma. The added sort of problem for us is that you have to fill in a work history, and obviously we can't put down what we've done, i.e. filming, because journalists and things are banned from Burma, so we'd instantly get declined. So we're just going to fill it out, hand it in, and hope for the best, I guess.
After an anxious 3-day wait, we had our visas granted, and by chance, whilst filming a piece to camera about this, we were interrupted by a Burmese journalist who spoke to us about what to expect there.
The camera is a very big issue. It's one thing if you bring a camera like that, then one spy, they pay $5 per day, then follow you everywhere. They're tailing people, watching foreigner. You really careful.
Yeah.
You know, what am my concern? It's just like, you doesn't look like a journalist. No. Yeah, but one thing, you know, in Burma, you ever been to Burma? If you hold a camera, they will look at you for 100%. Yeah. Because, you know, in Burma, the country is really close. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, don't shoot at the police. If you shoot the police, they will come and question you. Then you have to wait for the next flight.
Having been in Bangkok for a week, we had become accustomed to this relatively Western city and all the Western comforts it had to offer. But this chance encounter with our new friend was a wake-up call for us all. Our relaxed approach and our no-worries attitude soon disappeared as we really began to consider what we were doing. Only an hour away by plane, the contrast between the two countries couldn't be much greater. The modern skyscrapers of Thailand were swapped for dilapidated buildings, all with a green mossy tint. The modern cars for the war-era buses and pickup trucks. The smooth roads and pavements for the crumbling concrete of Yangon. It all combined to produce a culture shock for us all and a feeling of unease.
When you go to another country to film, the only worry that we have is that don't get the camera out because we might get mugged. Don't get the camera out here because it's a bit sketchy. Like, you know, there might be someone who wants to steal it. But here, there's another reason why you can't get the camera out. And that's because you just feel awkward because everyone looks at you all the time anyway because you're Westerners. And then you're lugging around a big camera, you've got even more attention on you, and you don't know if you should be filming, if like, even if you're just filming tourist stuff, it's kind of like, you know people are watching you and wondering what you're doing. I don't feel comfortable doing what I came here to do.
We thought the best way to overcome the issues we were having was to take our hostel guide up on his offer to show us around the city, and some sites such as the multi-storey market, the reclining Buddha and the Shwedagon Pagoda. The controversial tourism debate was something on our minds before and during the trip. We knew we had to be careful where our money went, avoiding government-owned hotels and restaurants, and instead focusing on the local businesses and market stalls. Entrance fees to the main tourist sites are charged in US dollars and go straight to funding the junta, so it is important to keep these down to a bare minimum or pay in Burmese currency wherever possible. This is the Shwedagon Pagoda. It is one of the biggest attractions here in Yangon and claimed to be 2,500 years old. Obviously, it's something that not many people would get to see and experience. It's truly spectacular. With several days spent getting accustomed to these new surroundings, we decided to try and find something to skate, and remembered that back in Bangkok, the journalist we had spoken to had said that he believed there was a skate park half an hour out of the city. We were truly shocked to find one just opposite the National Football Stadium, and even more so to find out that it was actually in relatively good condition.
Okay, so we've just taken a cab ride about 30 minutes outside of the centre of Yangon, and we've come across what looks like basically Burma's version of Romford Skate Park in England. And it's now basically a restaurant, but they've still got the remains of the skate park. There's a flat bar, there's a set of 3 stairs, there's some grime boxes, there's a little bank and some bowls. So yeah, let's get a skate on.
So we've been chilling at the park and we've just been sitting here talking to the camera, and a couple of skateboarders have come in. And these are the first skateboarders we've seen while we've been in Burma. So it's pretty exciting. They've got their own skateboards. Don't know, they're going to go over and say hello, I guess.
In our broken Burmese and their broken English, we talked about our shared skateboarding experience, from the videos we had all watched from both English and American companies, to the difficulty in learning new tricks. They explained that they thought the park was built several decades ago by either Japanese or English residents, and that previously they'd seen just 1 or 2 Westerners here. It was interesting that foreigners had used the park, but also a shame that if that was the case, it'd never been documented.
Oh, great white city, I've got the adequate committee. Where have your walls gone? I think about it now.
A combination of bad weather and staying in a central area so steeped in the history of the saffron protests had meant that Yangon, whilst not directly hostile, was nevertheless a lonely place for us to be. The skate park was in many ways the saving grace of our trip to the city, and we felt incredibly fortunate to be sharing this experience with the locals. The loneliness and being the only Westerners here soon disappeared, and for a few short hours we could have been anywhere. We could have never anticipated this happening in Burma.
So what?
So what are you doing?
All right, well, we've got these 3 boards, and yeah, we're going to give them to the kids because they obviously it's like expensive for them to buy them.
Okay.
So if
Thank you.
That's okay.
Thank you.
You can always do that. Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
One for him because he's very old. This one. Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Thank you. Thank you. So just been on the road to Mandalay, and we've reached Mandalay now, and it's about 5:30 in the morning, and we're all pretty tired from the 12-hour bus ride that we've just had, but we're all looking forward to seeing what Mandalay is like.
Arriving in Mandalay brought an altogether different vibe, which couldn't have contrasted more from Yangon. Full of open spaces and warmer people, with a palace at its centre, we immediately felt a lot more positive about being here.
Okay, so we're here in Mandalay and it's like our first proper day today. We arrived yesterday and we rented a couple of push bikes and cycled around a bit to kind of get the scope of the place. Today we're going to head up to a monastery school. Hopefully we should be able to go over there and do some teaching, like teach some English for a little bit. And we've also bought a little box of sort of stationery, pens and paper and all that kind of thing, because the government over here don't give schools, or they give them relatively, zero funding. So they have to go and buy all their exercise books and pens and paper. So we've bought, what we can to try and help out.
The simple addition of having access to bikes made a world of difference and immediately opened up the city for us. Our first journey was to find the school. With nearly 7,000 students and growing, the thought of teaching a typical class of 70 was daunting to say the least, especially as we had never taught before. Thankfully, we were given a fast-track class, meaning there would be no more than 18 students for us.
And we'll talk about objectives. Do you know objectives? Yes.
For all of us, it was a great experience and we were amazed at how well they could speak English. The children were super keen to learn and seemed genuinely excited to have us there. As a monastery school, there were a large number of young monks, or novices, that also attended class with the rest of the children. Unsurprisingly, they were all more than intrigued by our skateboards, and whilst it may not have been our most responsible of moments, we tried our best to explain how to stay on the board. Such simple experiences, which are normally beyond them, really make you realise how fortunate we are in the West, but more importantly, raise questions as to why they don't have access to such pleasures. With the day off from our teaching duties, we headed out onto the streets of Mandalay to find some skate spots. We couldn't have imagined the reaction we got, and I don't think the camera really does it justice. People would simply stop what they were doing and crowds would build to watch what was going on. The people were generally intrigued and enjoyed it, with many clapping and celebrating if a trick was landed. The presence of the camera only added to the intrigue. from Aung San Suu Kyi, perhaps Burma's most other famous and important residents are the Mustache Brothers, here in Mandalay. They had been outspoken about the government for decades, and their performance at Aung San Suu Kyi's house was the final straw for the junta. Papa Lay has been arrested 3 times and served long jail terms, whilst Lu Mao has been under house arrest ever since, often parodying this in their nightly shows for the tourists.
For any public performances, you require permission from the regime to hire a troupe. The regime will not give permission to hire the Mustache Brothers. Locals are not permitted to hire a performance troupe without an official permit. If you request the Mustache Brothers, your request will be denied.
Banned from performing for nationals, the once famous dance and comedy troupe now perform in their front room every night for tourists.
Not allowed. Close your eye, close your ear, close your mouth. The government, they don't want you educated.
They will talk at length about the problems in Burma and the change that they and so many others so desperately want and need. Lu Mao showed us the recent 30 Days for a Million Voices campaign that aired in the States. But with no real measurable change caused by it, it was both frustrating and saddening to watch, especially given the people's real belief that change was coming. Lu Mao perhaps summed up the freedom of speech issue with this joke.
Okay, I tell you one thing, few months ago, I very safari, I cannot sleep, I cannot drink, my teeth give me trouble. I have toothache. I need a doctor, dentist. I want to see the doctor for my teeth. I want to do the outside. Thailand, democracy, okay? Yeah. But first day I arrived there, I'm not looking for doctor. I join demonstration. Okay? Next day I see the doctor. Doctor, check my teeth. Doctor asked me, what's your name? So my name is Lumo. Lumo, where do you come from? I come from Burma. You come from Burma? Yes, very close. Yes. So why you come from outside Thailand, our country? Inside the Burma, do you have the doctor, your country? Yes, we have, but we are not allowed to open our mouth. That's why I want to do the outside. I said, you outside, no problem. Inside, please take care of your mouth. You open, rest.
With our time in Burma coming to an end, we were left to reflect on our experiences. We had witnessed a different side to the Burma than that which is reported in the news, one with a wonderful culture and truly friendly people. We had also seen, however, a nation being held back from progress by a ruling power that shows little care or commitment to its people. With the elections held in November 2010 being widely condemned as a sham process, the military regime remained in power, albeit with a different mask. There have been positive steps, however, including the unrestricted release of Aung San Suu Kyi and the vocal support of the Obama administration of an international investigation into the Burmese regime's crimes against humanity. It seems the future here is more uncertain now than ever before, but there is an undoubtable sense that progress, internationally and domestically, is happening, although very slowly. How much? Only time will tell.
I'm so glad this park is here. This is a sanctuary from the day-to-day just drama that goes on all the time.